Hello, fellow lost souls. Welcome to Scars and Skeletons. I am Miss Honey. Welcome to the first episode. Today we are going to be talking about fandoms. Where my love for fandoms first started was with Insane Clown Posse, which is much different than what fandoms are today. Fandoms today are a lot more cutesy. That's for sure. Definitely. Those fandoms today are a lot more cutesy. So, Insane Clown Posse was so much different than the fandoms are today. They were a lot more raw. Their themes of their songs were a lot more. How do I say it? They had a lot of cuss words in them, which when you're a teenager who's angry at the world, that kind of slaps more than you realize, you know? You're pissed off about everything, and it slaps. It definitely slaps, you know? You're mad at the world, and sometimes you just need that rage music. I ain't gonna lie about it, you just need that rage music. So, yeah, it was definitely something that I really got into when I was growing up. I got really deep into that fandom. I mean, I was buying all the merch. And trust me, I got so much merch. So much. And I still have it to this day. So much merch. What would stand out was when they would hold the gathering of the Juggalos, and they would walk right up to their fans. They would have huge concerts there. It would be like you could camp there. It was like basically a huge party, basically a family event, because their fans were like their family. That's how they looked at their fans. It was the Juggalo family. That's basically what we all were to each other, and that's something that they really built on, and I think that's what made them a little bit different and special. To elaborate more on that, so for Insane Clown Posse, they had, for their fans, it was females were juggalettes and males were juggalos. So basically, it was like a, how do I explain this? Basically, that's how it went. We had our own kind of categorized groups, and it was kind of like a whole big thing. I definitely met my fair share of juggalos, and I will definitely be sharing more on that in later podcasts, because believe me, I have some stories to share, but I decided to start out a little more tame, being that this is my first one that I'm going to be releasing, because do I have some stories for y'all. Let me say. I noticed that over time, things started to change, though. You know, things just started to not be the same in the fandom, and I mean, artists went, artists came, artists left, and it kind of just, the sense of family just kind of slowly started changing, and it kind of got harder and harder to feel like you fit in. I mean, maybe it was because I got older. That's a possibility. I'm not entirely quite sure. I mean, part of me will always be a juggalette. Part of me will always love that part of myself. Part of me will always be a part of the family. I mean, see, it was a huge part of my life for so long, you know? But, like, I was, I was and still am so used to, like, the originals, you know? Like, Encyclopedia, Boondocks, Twisted. And it's just so interesting to see, like, these new age artists coming in and seeing them release this music that is definitely meant for, like, a newer generation. And I guess me just being older not getting it or just not, you know, getting the vibe. And like I said, maybe it's just because I'm older. I don't know. I also was never one of the lucky ones who went to the gathering of the Juggalos. I joined the fandom when I was, you know, 13, 14 years old. That's when I became a Juggalette. So I was young. I was quite young. Frankly, my mama said no. You're not going to a festival with grown-ass adults. That's not happening. And you know what? Fair enough, mama. Fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. You know, as I've gotten older, you know, maybe I'm starting to see things in a different light. Maybe that's how, you know, maybe that's all this is. You know, that could be a possibility. I mean, through the Juggalo family, I did meet someone. We are no longer together. We had a child together, my only child. But as soon as I got pregnant, he after 5 years, he no longer decided that he wanted to be a family man. The moment I got pregnant, he got with someone else, and he decided he did not want to be there. And that's all you're getting right now. I will touch on it more later in its own podcast, because there is so much more to the story, and let me tell you what, it is one of the most traumatic experiences of my whole entire life. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. I will say, though, after having a child, everything changes. Everything. Like, the people that you think they were your friends, they kind of, like, stop being your friends. Like, you can't go out and do the things that they want to do. And, you know, your life is no longer your own either. Your life now becomes your child's life. So, yeah. Everything changes. Just everything changes. So, maybe in the end that's all it was. I don't really know for sure. And maybe, you know, losing the person that I thought was going to be my partner and having that person be part of the Juggalo family, maybe that could have been what kind of, like, pulled me out of it as well. I'm not entirely sure either. You know, I've never really sat down and thought about it like that. Not entirely sure, I guess. I mean, there was at one point in time when one of the main vocalists of Insane Clown Posse had gotten ill, and I noticed it was after that I kind of took a step back and was like, you know what, you need to chill, man. Like, you just need to take a step back, focus on your family. And after that, I just noticed that, like, alright, things kind of fell off a little bit. Like, he needed to take time for himself, though. Like, you know, and like I get that, like I was all for that. I'm like, you need to take the time for yourself, you need to like relax, you know, because like if you ain't at your best, you ain't can't do the best, you know. I get that. And I will always be a juggler at heart, though. I mean, my whole entire teenage life was filled with the Juggalo family and all the people I met along the way. It was a crazy, wild, you know, experience. I mean, it was my whole teenage years. You know, it gave me my child. Was it a wild ride to get where I am? Uh-huh. It most definitely was. But would I take it? I wouldn't take it back though. I would not take it back. I would absolutely not take it back for anything. No way. No, I wouldn't take it back. No. Absolutely not. I mean, I have found, I found happiness and joy, but I've also found sadness and not so much joy. Like I said, more podcasts to come because you girls got some stories, but I want to round this all back to more talking about fandoms because in the past year, past few years actually, I found myself kind of, wanting to find that same feeling again to where it's like that music and family feeling, because like I will admit, like I said, once you have a child, everything changes. The people that you thought were your friends aren't really your friends. And, I will admit, it gets lonely. Like, you find yourself kind of craving that feeling for friendship again. And I was kind of like, would it be nice to have, like, that kind of thing again where it's like that music and family pairing? And I'm happy to say that within the last year, I have found another fandom that I can kind of find that same feeling in again, which makes me feel good. And I've kind of went like dove headfirst into it. And it's kind of nice because like this one is definitely one of those that's like the more cutesy type where like I can share it with my child, which is like super nice because St. Calabassy was lovely for me when I was an angsty teenager, but I couldn't share that with my child. No. No. Versus the fandom that I found nowadays, like this is like a concert that I can take my child to. I'm not. As your children get older, it's harder to find things to bond with them over, which is why I'm so excited that I found something that, I could be like, hey, check this out. And my kid can be like, oh, that's cool, Because like I said, as I get older, it's harder to find things that they're gonna like and you can like. And that's why I'm just so excited that I found something that we can both agree on. Like I said, how cool would it be to actually just, take your child to go see something that you both like at a concert? That sounds pretty darn cool, right? Like, best mom of the year, hello. So, I mean, hey, you can't argue with that. I mean, come on now. So, I definitely am not gonna name this new fandom in the same podcast as Insane Cloud and Posse because I definitely view them as polar opposites. And I believe that they need their own podcast versus Insane Clown Posse because, like I said, polar opposites from each other, and I don't want to put them in the same category at all because we're looking at two different genres of music. Insane Clown Posse is definitely underground. They are their own darn thing, y'all. Like, if you ain't ever listened to them, go listen to them. If you want to start out tame, go listen to Boondocks, We All Fall. And then you can move on to Insane Clown Posse. Okay? Just start out with Boondocks, We All Fall. Because of that. Okay. Knock on wood, y'all. Ready? You're gonna hear a little knock. Knock on wood. When I die, that song will be played at my funeral. Okay? I love that song. That is one of my favorite songs by all the artists that were with Psychotic Records. Okay? Hear me out. So go eat. At the end of this podcast, you would need to go listen to that. And then go listen to something by Insane Clown Posse. Just go pick a random song. I would suggest let's see. What song would I suggest? Going through all of my head right now. It's so bad. I am going to recommend you Rainbows and Stuff by Insane Clown Posse. That's the song that I'm going to say you are going to go listen to after you listen to We All Fall by Boondocks. Alright? Okay. So I'm going to end this here. It has been great. It's been great talking to you, my lost souls. And I will see you next time. Next time will be episode 2 of Fandoms, and we will be talking about the new fandom that I have found that I have deemed relatively child friendly. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.